Well, today we're talking about things you need to do in your garden now. I know it's November, but there's still things you need to do in your garden. Welcome to the Row by Row Gardening Show, the best dadgum gardening show on the internet, where we talk about gardening, a little bit of cooking, and growing your own food. Now sit back and enjoy. Hey folks, I'm Greg.
I'm Sheila.
Welcome. Man, look at the garden harvest, November folks, and look at the garden harvest we got here on the homestead.
So we're talking about what to do in November today.
Yes, we are.
And we're harvesting. Harvesting.
All right, Mama Hoss, let's go over everything we got here, because this is really unbelievable for November. You guys up north, eat your heart out, okay? This is what we do in the South. Y'all get to do some things in the summertime we can't do, but eat your heart out.
This is why I like fall gardening.
Yeah, fall gardening is neat, and that's what we get to enjoy it so much down here in the deep, beautiful South. Ambrosia corn we've been enjoying for probably 2 weeks.
As well as the whole community.
And yeah, I mean, we've supplied corn to everybody here in the office and all our neighbors. You know, this stuff matured really, really slow this fall, which is pretty normal.
Real slow.
Now, one thing we don't talk about a lot as far as maturity is we talk about the cooler temperatures, but you know, length of daylight in the day also has a huge effect on these vegetables and their maturity. And that's the reason we see things slow up during the fall so much and the winter, for matter of fact.
And so we've had a longer harvest window.
We have had a longer harvest window, which is the good side of that, but it takes a little long for things to mature because of the cooler temperatures, cooler nights, and the shorter amount of daylight in the day. Therefore, it causes things to switch up just a little bit than what it does in maybe May or June. Zipper peas.
Wow. Just wow.
Oh, I'm going to tell you, I did a video on this, but I'm going to say probably a 30 by 40 spot at most.
5 rows.
Peas. 5 rows. And how much have you harvested? Now, yesterday was probably the last harvest.
I think there's another one.
You think so?
Yeah, there's another. There's a bunch of more small ones. I've put up 20 quarts. I've canned 20 quarts.
And we've gave away how much?
Probably 2 5-gallon buckets, which I get 5 quarts off of a 5-gallon bucket. So we gave away about 10 quarts.
Gave away 10 quarts and then...
I canned to about 20.
So we're talking about 30 quarts off of that little bitty small spot of zipper peas. And not the first one. Have you seen the first one stung?
No, I haven't.
So therefore, folks, grow these cowpeas in the fall of the year. It's ideal. I wouldn't grow them in the springtime, fall.
Yeah, and I did a video on with my new canner and how I canned them.
Cucumbers, pickles, they're gone, but we got the last harvest off of them yesterday. These Max Packs, the gift that keeps on giving and giving and giving. Bell peppers, and I forgot the variety of these right here. Our bell peppers have done wonderful. Same thing with them, a little slower to mature, but the plants still look really, really good. And then we got Mr. Wonderful Quick Start Kohlrabi. Now this one's still a little bit on the small side, but these things are popping.
But I like to eat them that small, like just raw with some ranch dressing.
They get a little bit tough if you let them get too big, so it is. These things come off in 45 days, so it's a great fall crop right here. Oh yeah, and we got that zinnia right there.
You gonna pull one out?
That is, folks, this right here is Zahara Fire Zinnia. This is a wonderful zinnia right here for containers or for borders. Now it does not work for cut flowers because it only gets about 12 inches high.
But it works good for a small vase. I don't know if I can pull this out. See that?
Yeah, it works okay. It's not designed for that. Let me put it that way.
No.
So this right here I found in Des Moines, Iowa at a trial. It's an All-American selection winner, believe it or not. And this Zahara double, it's a double zinnia, Zahara Fire loads up, it loads
It's like
up
a blanket of orange.
It is, and it works wonderful for raised beds where I got it at. But containers,
I have some too.
I think it's probably, I would like it better as a border, I think.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think so. What about that broccoli over there?
Broccoli. You got some broccoli to eat there.
Yes, I do.
This is some of my peppers. Some poblano, I think Cuban ale. And then we've got some Savannah mustard.
It's starting to wilt just a little bit.
I picked it early this morning. And and some, is it all top turnips?
All top turnips.
And then we have
Citrus up here.
the satsuma, and that tree is loaded.
And they're good this year too. Our satsumas are hit and miss. We don't always have a good crop, and they're not always real good. Sometimes they're
This
better.
is the first year they've been good, but I had that little talk with that tree.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
What'd you tell the tree, Sheila?
It was going to be gone if it didn't produce this year. Key limes, and then my lemons, and ponderosa,
Ponderosa lemon, which is the big one, folks.
big one. That is a lemon, I promise.
Yep.
And we took a little trip last week.
Took a little trip up to the mountains, see the fall colors changing a little bit.
It was nice. Nice little vacay. We had a rough week last week.
A little bit of a rough week last week.
Rough week.
So I got me some broccoli salad right here that we made of our broccoli because we like to eat out of the garden there.
We
We like to eat out of the
Yeah,
garden.
we like to eat.
Yep. And broccoli salad is one of my favorite things. And it's good for you and it's good to you, folks.
Is that good?
What else in that?
Apples from North Georgia. Pecans, bacon, good old Duke's mayonnaise, onions. I think that's it. Oh, some Parmesan cheese. So, while you're eating that,
Okay, let's talk about our trip just a second.
oh, okay. I'm getting going here.
We ended up going to Franklin, North Carolina to spend 2 or 3 days up there. A great time up there. The leaves were just about perfect turning. Cool weather, and we see a couple farms on the way up there. It was a wonderful time. We don't really get to get off there that often, so it was a great trip for us.
They had fields of cabbage. Yeah. We didn't get to the farmer's market this year.
Right.
It was beautiful though. The leaves, it was perfect.
Yep. Cool weather. I always think I'd like to live up there.
Every time we go, you're like, this is what I'm gonna
I got moved to the mountains.
He's looking for land, and then by the third day, I'm ready to go home.
Yep, ready to go home.
Good to be home.
Yep.
We ready now? Can I go ahead? Okay, so we're talking about what you should be doing in your garden, and we're going to go over the different zones. But first, we're going to do just a general garden cleaning. So you want to clean out your annual vegetables and flowers. And we did some of that yesterday with the cucumbers. You can harbor diseases, pests, so get them out of the way, move them way away. Remove the weeds. You don't want to grow a bunch of weeds over the winter. They can host eggs and pathogens too. Do your soil test. It's a good time to do that soil test for the spring.
Yeah, I always say at least do a soil test once every 2 years.
See if you need to add any nutrients,
Lime is the biggie. Lime, your pH is the biggie there.
but don't add it if you don't need it.
Exactly. And potassium and phosphorus, you want to keep an eye on those two. Of course, we can't measure nitrogen in the soil sample. That's the big misconception out there. People think they can find out about nitrogen. Nitrogen's mobile does not read in the soil sample. But you will get an idea where you're at on phosphorus and potassium, which is really important. Also, calcium and magnesium.
Plant your cover crops.
I'm probably going to plant tomorrow some black oaks. We got black oaks in this year. It's a new one for us.
Wow.
And I'm going to plant some black oats tomorrow. So, yeah, cover crops this time of year is always fun to grow. I enjoy growing these wintertime cover crops. I like to grow something different all the time.
And you got some calendula.
I got calendula growing. I got a really nice stand of Super Bee Felicia going. So, yeah, I'm going to plant those black oaks as well. In case you didn't know, black oaks are wonderful for livestock too. So cover crop, livestock feed, does both.
Replenish your mulch. Good time to do that.
Yep.
If you're not going to plant, get your area ready and tarp it.
Yep, tarp, and the thing about tarping is you can tarp that spot, and when you get ready to use it, peel it back, boom,
Bam.
you're ready to go out and use it. So that your compost piles, make sure that you're putting all those leaves and stuff in your compost bin, keeping those turned to aerated so they're working off so you have plenty of good compost for springtime. Now, what I like to do is add a little manure. We got horses, so we can add a little horse manure in there with our leaves and stuff. Leaves have a little bit of nitrogen, but not much. They're mainly a carbon source. So you need some type of nitrogen in there to keep it up, keep it all cooking. That broccoli's the gift keeps on giving.
Clean and sharpen your garden tools. Put that linseed oil on your wheel hoe handles.
This, for me, every year is one of those. You know, we have one of those weekends where it's kind of drizzly, rain, and overcast. I'd pick out one of those Saturdays, and
You do.
that's what I do. Is I go up and spend the day in the garden shed and get all my things cleaned up.
Organize it.
Yeah, your glasses are fogging up.
I know, it's hot in here.
Yep. I've never seen nobody's glasses fogged up.
Thank you for pointing
Yeah,
that out.
you're welcome.
Shut off your irrigation systems.
Yeah, the main thing on that, now we don't have that much problem here, but you guys that live north of here, you want to make sure that you bring that filter regulator combo and those fertilizer injectors inside. So your drip tape, for the most part, it's going to work itself out. It's going to depressurize itself. And your mainline tubing, I wouldn't be worried about that. However, those filter regulator combos can trap water in those, and definitely those fertilizer injectors. So those two things you want to make sure you bring inside.
Okay. All right. So let's start with zone 9 and what you can be planting.
Yeah, so we're going to start with zone 9, and I know we're pretty good at 9 and 8, but if it gets into those 7s, 6s, and 5s, we are going to give you some general guidelines there. We have people that we talk to that gives us things, that gives us advice on what you can be doing there. We're not near as familiar in zones 6, 5, 6, and 7 is what we are 8 and 9. So we're going to give you some information there. But if you disagree with that and you live in that zone or you got something to add to that, please put in the comments below. We would more than welcome your comments on that. It helps us to kind of get an idea. You know, not everybody can be planting broccoli in November. Some of us can, some of y'all can't. So all that kind of stuff would be beneficial. Zone 9. You guys are the ones that pretty much can grow all winter long. Yep. Now you can't grow in the summertime, but you can grow all winter long. So at this point, you can still get most of your cold crops, your transplants such as your brassicas, cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, all those. You can still get those into the ground to be okay. You still can direct seed just about everything in this cool weather. We're talking about spinach, we're talking about mustard, turnips, radishes, beets, all those things you can still get in the ground, carrots, English peas, lettuces, kale, any of that you can still get around. I think you'll be okay. And of course, strawberries, elephant garlic, onion starch. Onion starch, if you're in zone 9, I would probably wait toward the end of November, or I think you might be better off served if you did it to the middle of November or later on. I think that would be best on your onion starch. I think you'd be fine at the first. I think they would possibly do a little bit better at the end of November. All right.
Cover crops?
Cover crops, heck, you can get any of them in. Any cool weather cover crops, it's time to get them in. They'll do wonderful for you guys. Zone 8, and that's where we at. Okay, 1st November is normally starting where our schedule starts tightening up a little bit because our average frost date here is November 22nd. Sometimes it's on to December or maybe even January before we get a hard freeze.
All right, we're in the 50s at night, 80s during the day still this week.
So as you can see, we're still doing wonderful. I think we could probably still get some things into the ground, although it's always a gamble, folks. We don't guarantee anything with the weather around here. But I think you could also get some transplants into the ground. I still got some transplants in the greenhouse I'm probably going to get out in a week or two. I still got kale I'm going to transplant. I still got some more broccoli we're going to put out. So all those kind of things that you can still get out there and be okay. I would hesitate starting from seed at this point. I think transplants would be better on the brassica family.
But English peas you could...
English peas is getting a hair late on. A hair late on. You can take your chances on it. If we have one of those warm months, you'll probably be okay. I prefer to plant English peas in October. I think you should probably still get carrots and beets and radishes into the ground. Of course, mustard and turnips, they're going to be a little bit slower to germinate, come up. I think you still got plenty of time on those. as well as, did I say beets and radishes?
I don't know.
Yep. All those I think you can
I
still
was
get into
eating
the
my
ground.
orange.
Elephant garlic. Plant your elephant garlic and strawberries. Still got time for strawberries and onions. Here we are on onions. We're going to start Monday shipping out onion plants. So get your onion plants. You can go ahead and get those started. Anytime in November is good for onions for Zone 8. Cover crops. You know, you're not in the ideal time slot there, but you're about 2 weeks off. Still got plenty of time to get most, if not all, of those into the ground. All the cool seasons. 7. You guys are a little bit further north, and you guys are winding down as far as getting anything as far as winter gardening going there. If you got things out there such as Brussels sprouts or cabbage or any of those brassicas that are established and they're still holding on,
They're probably okay.
they're probably going to be okay. Actually, some of them are a little bit better, like collards, when they do get a little bit of cold weather on. I think it's too late to start any of them, but you can still enjoy the ones that you got planted there that's good and established. You're going to wait till springtime to get your onions started, your onion plant started. Strawberries, probably still got time to get those or have gotten those into the ground.
Garlic, they can still plant.
Oh yeah, they can still plant garlic. Yeah, and elephant garlic as well. Well, that's pretty much it. You guys on cover crops, if I was going to plant anything, it would be just rye, because rye is a little more cold tolerant than any of it, and your germination is going to take longer there. But for the most part, I would hold off on most of the cover crops besides rye at that point in Zone 7. You do need to have your frost blankets and stuff on hand. If we do get one of those cold colds, you can put those out there and protect some of them. And of course, you know, your compost, as we talked about, make sure you have plenty of compost and be working on that. So come springtime, you can boom, have plenty of organic matter and compost to add to those garden spots. Zone 6, oh boy, gets tougher and tougher, doesn't it?
Is that what you talked to Mike about?
I talked to Mike, my buddy up in Ohio, and I said, Mike, what can we do now? He said, pretty much nothing. He says, if you have got a protected raised bed as far as a protective covering like a hoop house, or if you take a raised bed and put plastic over it, he said, you might could get by starting some spinach or some Swiss chard. Or if you got kale, kale's pretty frost tolerant. Mm-hmm. If you got that, he said possibly you could grow it, but it's going to have to be in a protected environment. Besides that, y'all just get your firewood out, get you a good magazine, because it's going to be a long, cold winter.
Start looking at what seeds you want to order.
Yep. Definitely you guys need to winterize your irrigation systems a lot more than we do. So that's pretty much it. That's what you need to be doing now in November. Not a lot, but you can also do some planning about your upcoming garden. But if you live here in the South, you got plenty to do. Plenty. How about that?
Sounds good.
And we got Garden Spotlight of the Week. Now this is a good one right here. Let me get my specs so I want to see. Lori Eden from Prescott Valley, Arizona. We don't get a lot of gardener submissions from Arizona, but she is from Prescott Valley, Arizona, Zone 7. This is what Lori wrote. Everything, all seeds bought from Hoss. Thank you, Lori. They were very early pictures. I'm going to show you here. Please notice the drip system in the garden boxes. It worked great, and it was also bought from Hoss. And the sweet potato barrels. She's got sweet potatoes planted in barrels. Let me show this right here. There's a couple of pictures of these right here. And she's got a trellis there. I thought that was interesting. I've never seen
sweet
that.
potato?
Yeah.
Wow.
But you know, we grew sweet potatoes this last year and really enjoyed the leaves. So this would be an excellent option right there to be able to enjoy those leaves in a stir fry. I thought that was a great idea.
Interesting.
So yeah, she planted her sweet potatoes in those barrels and let the vines grow up on that arch there, which was pretty doggone sniffy. And sniffy. Let me see if I can find another picture here. Okay, this is her raised beds. I want you to look at those raised beds. I thought those was really nice. I like the metal on the outside. Now she built these. You can tell they're not store bought. But those look really nice. And she's got her irrigation system going up into the raised beds. FYI, we got a new irrigation system coming out just for raised beds for 2023. So keep your eye on that. It'll be coming out before long. And this is another garden. She's using the row cover there. Oh, here's the other one showing the barrels. I knew there was another one in there. This is the barrel she's talking about with the sweet potato plants in there. Yep. And some more of her raised beds right there. Says she grew our tomatoes and got about 60 pounds off of those and got those processes. She loved the zucchinis and the peaches, and cream corn was one of her favorites.
And what was her name again?
Her name is Lori Eden.
Lori Eden.
Lori, thank you for sending, she's in Zone 7. Thank you for sending us in your pictures for your garden. Looks great. You got a nice fence around there as well. Looks like you and your family's doing a great job growing your own food.
Speaking of gardens, while we were on our trip, we found the gates for our new garden.
Yep. Potager.
Potager, kitchen.
Then we still got work, some work to do on.
A lot of work to do.
A lot of work to do on. Our last couple of weeks has been kind of down and out, so we've been getting back on track.
Getting back on track.
Getting back on track. And what about the old goat?
Oh, good.
I got it right here.
You got it?
Yep.
You want me to draw?
Yeah, you draw it this time. All right, folks. So if we have an old goat hidden on the show somewhere, it's a figurine, and if you can find the old goat, put your comments below, and next week we will draw a name to see who wins.
And this week is Jennifer K.
Jennifer K? Mm-hmm. K-A-Y? Oh, Jennifer K. Okay.
That's her YouTube name. Jennifer, send us your shipping address to cussserve@hosstools.com and we'll get you something in the mail.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, I think that wraps her up.
What about corny joke?
Oh, got that corny joke. You got one? Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm ready for your corny jokes, my boss.
What did the baby corn say to the mama corn?
I never get them. I don't know.
Where's popcorn? You know that?
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Where's
Yeah.
popcorn? Yep.
Papa.
Pop.
We had our grandbabies here last week.
We did. We enjoyed those.
It
Yeah.
was a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right, folks. Thank you for joining. Things to do in your garden. Make you a list. Get out there and get it done.
Get your onion orders in.
Get your onion. Yeah. Think about onions. So I'm glad you reminded me of that. We were able to procure some more of the red onions, so we got more red onions in stock. So far, so you can buy the bundle again. We don't have a lot left, but we have some left. We'll start shipping Monday. We will ship every Monday, pretty much through the month of November. We'll be shipping onions out. So if you don't get yours the first week, you'll get them the second week or the third week. Make you a list. Use those rainy days when there's nothing else to do to go to the garden shed and get those garden tools in good shape. Get your tiller and everything. Service, that's what I want to do. Mm-hmm. All right, now it's time for you to get off that couch and get dirty, folks. Thank you for joining us.